Hey, what's up? This is G with Allastrology. Well, G and Taffy. Well, there goes Taffy. All right, so Miss A's not here, so it's just gonna be me solo. Just doing another real quick little interesting, fun episode, which is just me giving you guys, trying to fill in some spaces of information that I am aware of. So I did a little clip a few days ago of the upcoming full moon. That's May 18th. And I kind of had this little prayer slash invocation slash, I got cats all over the place. Come here, girly. There's nothing over there for you. Come on over here. And that's so weird. Taffy never normally jumps up there. Normally that's Zoe's space. This is so wild that Taffy's jumped that high. Anyhow, so let me move right along here. I feel strongly, I know I keep saying, gosh, girl, you feel strongly about a lot of things. I do, especially right now. I don't know how to explain it in an astrological way to you guys at this time. Eventually you'll be there. But what I am going to point out is something real quick in a chart that I have here, okay? You want to stay tuned. Listen to this whole thing though, because what I'm going to do is tie this in to everybody's charts that we've looked at so far. Okay, this is important. This is the moon that's coming up, the full moon on the 18th. We are going to do the readings. We're going to go through each chart separately. But you got to kind of have some background information, okay? You got to kind of have a preface before we go into this intense energy that's coming. This is not like go, run and hide type of thing. It's just like all the moons, the full moons. I want you guys to be aware of the intensity of it and why it's so intense and what to do with it. So if you kind of plan in advance what to do with this kind of energy, what kind of focus to have, which is why I had the invocation I had at the end of the last episode, or the last little thing I did. It's super important. So even if those words and all of them in that invocation didn't necessarily, maybe it was a little too far out there. It's a possibility. But you make up your own intention, your own invocation, take bits and pieces of it or none of it, whatever you want to do, okay? My whole goal is to just try to get everybody to be a little bit more cognizant of their thinking, the thoughts that go on in our mind, the emotions that we feel when these times are coming and when we're in the midst of them. And by the time you're in the midst of it, it's too late because words have already been said, thoughts have already been thought, actions have already been taken, and it's like water under the bridge type of thing. It's already there. Anyway, let me tie this into the charts. So you guys know, we've sent you your chart. You guys know this is how your charts look. I have to point something out before I go into the whole the May 18th powerful moon that's coming. When we give you guys a chart reading, okay, we take into consideration all these planets and we pinpoint the 2 or 3 things that we are specifying for you during your reading, which is like we've been teaching you, which has been your ascendant, right? And then we find your sun sign, we find your natal moon sign, okay? These have been the 3 most important things that if you can find those in your chart and understand them, you'll have a really good inner awareness of who you are as a whole. If you were to go on any channel on YouTube, okay, you go to any channel on YouTube right now and you see the postings that say Scorpio full moon, May 2018, and then it'll say your rising sign, right? It'll say a sign. Doesn't tell you what it's the sign for. It'll say something like Scorpio full moon for Tauruses, Scorpio full moons for Virgos, Scorpio full moons for Libras, Scorpio full moons for Aquariuses. What they're giving you is a reading based solely on your rising sign. Okay, so the readings they give you, they tell you, well, this is based upon your rising sign and your sun sign or your moon sign. But think about it, guys. Think about it. Why have Miss A and I been doing specific charts for each individual? Because everybody's sun is in a different location on the chart and everybody's moon is on a different location on the chart. The only reading they can really give you that's going to apply in a predicative physical way is your rising sign Okay, so what I'm saying is they're basically selling you on the idea that, well, we're giving readings for rising signs, but that applies to the sun and the moon. It does, there's a degree of it that does, and only if you know enough about astrology to understand what they're saying and how and where to apply it in your current chart at the present day. You see, there's lots of layers of previous knowledge you have to understand what they're doing. And her and I, it took us a while actually to figure that out, that that's what they were doing. We were like, how are they giving a reading for my rising sign? They don't have my chart. How are they doing that, you know? But what we didn't realize is they were just like skipping and jumping over a bunch of other things as though it didn't matter. And we thought, that's insane. So all these people out there who are tuning into these channels and who are listening to these rising sign readings, which is what they strictly are, and they aren't saying specifically these are rising sign readings, but that is what they are, unless you're paying them money to read your chart and give you, you know, your sun and take all that into consideration. They're just strictly rising sign readings, and the rising sign is our physical body, our physical location of where we were on the time that we were born. As you guys have been listening and learning, there's so many other things that have to be taken into consideration to really talk about what you're going through right now in your life, at home, at work, at school, in your social circle, in your significant one-on-one relationships, right? Your significant other, your business partner, whatever it may be. There's a whole buttload of other stuff that you need to be aware of. Okay, so it's like when you read the papers or a magazine that gives you the horoscope reading. Those are specifically sun sign readings. They are specifically saying, okay, if you were born at such and such, you know, during the months or whatever they give you, April 21st to May 21st or some crap, they'll say you're in the sign of Taurus. And if you're in the sign of Taurus, that's a sun sign reading only. And so then all they're reading is, well, this is what's going on in Taurus right now. And so they give you a lot of Taurus elements, and then they take into consideration some of the things that are aspecting the sun in the chart, okay? And what does that mean? Again, this might not be the most thrilling video for a lot of people, and I apologize for that, but I just thought it would be better to take the time, especially while I'm by myself, to just go ahead and have this be done, have this be said. That way you guys have heard it, and if you didn't hear it, well, it's because you didn't listen to the video, and I apologize, but it's here in the library, so it's there for you to hear anytime you want. Take a quick look at this. Not going to go and open this book and show you the details. It's super boring, right? But it's a thick-ass book. It's called an ephemeris, okay? And with this ephemeris, we can look up a certain time and a day, and this is the planetary locations, meaning this is where the planets are right now, okay? That's crazy, right? So it's got this for all these years, right? So there's so many things to take into consideration when you're giving somebody a reading, which is why we can only allow an X amount of time per chart that we go through. And honestly, we really have done a lot by going through the 20 minutes per chart that we do without any charge. We just ask for your loyalty. That's all we ask for. You know, your loyalty, and we ask for you to share all this beautiful knowledge, whether it's sharing us, our videos, whether it's sharing what you've heard and what you've learned, share it. Because I am an astrology geek. I don't know how else to say it to you guys. I am, like Miss A is out with Mr. Steve. Good for her. She's got a life. You know, what is Greer doing? Greer's at home looking at charts. Greer's at home going through the ephemeris. Well, because Greer's kind of limited, but you know, Greer's just doing all these astrology damn things because I'm crazy. But there's just so much knowledge here that people have no clue is available to them. And it's blowing my mind away. Every day I'm going through stuff and I'm just like, damn, they need to know this. They need to know this. You know, this is coming up. They need to be aware of this. Tying this back all now in, let me check this light here. I think we're losing some light. Tying this back all in now to the full moon that's coming up, okay? It is, if you were to look at an ephemeris, if you look at the astrology of it, okay, if you look at the astronomy of it, which by the way, astrology and astronomy were never two separate things when it began. There was only one thing, okay, and it was astrology. I'm sorry, it was astronomy. The science of astronomy included those astronomers not only knowing the locations of those planets and the mathematics involved, but understanding they were emitting rays of energy, and the rays of energy that they emitted, okay, literally had quality, traits, and characteristics, personality, that it would imbue down upon the receivers. Okay, so this was all one at one time, and I think that's fascinating as hell, because nowadays we separate it and we think, well, this one over here is chewing gum science, you know, it's just bull, and the other one is something legit. Let's bring it backwards. We all have that knowledge, and it's valid. Okay, so the May 18th full moon that's coming up, it is in Scorpio. Okay, it is called the Wesak full moon. I know I mentioned that before, and I also spelled it wrong on the video. It's Weasak, and I say that way you can Google it. It's every year. It's the emanation. It is the release of the most potent energy for the year, and it happens in the sign of Scorpio. It's happening at 27 degrees of Scorpio. I wrote it in here. You can probably barely see that. I don't know. The lighting's bad. Anyway, it's at 27 degrees of Scorpio. So what you would do on your chart right now at home, okay, you would find out where is Scorpio in your chart. It's opposite of Taurus. So on this person's chart, they got Taurus here on their ascendant pretty much, and then they have Scorpio on the opposite side, okay? So 27 degrees would be up here in this person's house. Oh, they got a planet there at 25. So this is going to be a big deal. For this person's chart, 27 degrees Scorpio is in the house of significant one-on-one relationships. And it's going to be conjunct the planet of Neptune. They have a Neptune at 25 degrees. So that's conjunct because it's within 2 degrees, all right? Scorpio, we've talked about Scorpio in the past. It is a planet that can penetrate. It is a sign that penetrates. It goes deep. It is the investigator. It is a super psychic sign. And so for this individual, I would highly recommend, and who is this individual, right? Who is this individual, you might say? This is April 23rd, 1968 at 5:55 a.m. in Chicago, Illinois. This is your chart. I am giving you a reading right now. What I would advise you is to start remembering what you wrote down at your new moon in Taurus that we talked about. Do you remember? We said, write some things down. This is the area where you need to focus them. And I'm going to tell you the same thing. This is a continuation of that. Actually, on that day, the day before, and the following days, you want to remember, okay, regardless of what else is going on, you get up in the morning, read those, say those, speak those. This is important, okay? It's important because it'll make your life easier. And I know you want that. We all want ease added to our life. Life is, look around, people, right? Wake up and look around. There's so much sadness. There's so much negativity. There's so much of all this other stuff that we need to somehow clear away and get to the truth and to see what really matters, okay? And that's what this is all about. Remember that it was the Taurus new moon. It was about our values, okay? So we need to, for this individual, it's in this house of one-on-one relationships. You need to remember what's really important. And because it's conjunct Neptune for this person, what Neptune does is it adds a murkiness to the water. Okay, Neptune is, below the sea type of things, but its job is to make things look confusing. It has an illusionary type of effect. So you might see people in a way with your glasses on, right? And your glasses are clouding up your vision. You're not seeing who they really are in some way. Either you put them up on a pedestal, or you don't see some of the some of the not so wonderful things about them. In some way, there's some part of your vision that is unclear, that is illusional, that is delusional, that is just foggy, downright foggy. So keep in mind, you're not to go forward and be crazy with it, because you're going to have this potent, right? You're going to have this pressure of energy that's actually coming from the inside of you and building and want to expand. You need to try to stay focused and just remember, it's always going to have to be about the greater good for all, ultimately. But when it comes to significant one-on-one relationships, stay balanced. It's in the house of balance, okay? But because it's in Scorpio, because it's in this which is to add illusions, okay, which is to add a murkiness and a fogginess. It's going to be hard to see. How do I stay balanced? Are they staying balanced? Are they compromising more than I am? Am I compromising more than they are? Keep things balanced in your mind, okay? This sign, Scorpio, is all about powerful emotions, okay? And if I know my camera's shaking, I got this table and we're shaking all over the damn place, I apologize. With Neptune added to it, it's hard for us to see that. So what do? Neptune's about dreams, and it's the opposite of Virgo. So there's no logic involved. There's no rationale involved, which means you need to focus on logic at this time. You need to focus on being rational. You need to focus on being calm, okay? Really important. And this overall message would apply to every person's chart. However, it's where is it happening in your chart, okay? For this person, one-on-one, significant one-on-one relationships. This is their ascendant. This is their descendant. This is them. This is somebody else. And the descendant usually represents, like if you have a planet there, astrology likes to say that that is a significant one-on-one in a sense that it's probably very likely if you were ever to partner up with somebody, whether it's for marriage, some sort of contractual obligation, okay? So it could be business, that's going to be that person. They're going to have those qualities, traits, and characteristics, okay? So there's so much at play here. And you, as someone listening, might have Scorpio. You might have it in your home. You know what I mean? You might have it in your 5th house of fun. You might have it in your 3rd house of communication. You could have it in your house of other people's money. You could have it in your house of work and profession, okay? You could have it in your house of social circles and friendships, okay? There's all these areas of a chart where the full moon could happen. And we touched on it a little bit at the new moon reading that you guys all got. Okay, because we told you to focus on Taurus. And if you look in your chart, the opposite of Taurus is Scorpio. That's where this full moon is going to be. But you are to stay focused on your new moon intentions that we went into depth for each one of you in your chart. Okay? Now, we're not going to have a meltdown. The world's not going to, just implode. Okay? But I know how intense I get at this time during any full moon. And I see it play out in other people's lives, people around me, right? I see it happen. And so I just really want to give you guys this heads up, because once you're aware it's coming in and what it's about and where in your life it's going to affect you, you're going to have such a different level of perception, because your awareness is going to be automatically elevated. And these lifetimes we're living, it's all about being elevated. Not elevated as in I'm higher than you, but elevated as in I am raising my consciousness. Because the more you raise your consciousness, the more you understand you are not a victim of the wheel, but you become a master of this wheel. Okay? I know that's another video. That's another time. So, remember, tune in. We're coming up with some more detailed chart readings for the new moon, the full moon. My head keeps wanting to say the new moon because I keep seeing Taurus, because that's what we have to stay focused on. But it's the full moon in Scorpio, which is known as the Wesak full moon. And it's confusing because when a moon is so powerful, the goal of the moon, here's the secret that I told you to wait and listen for at the end of the video, the goal of any full moon, the way out of the energy, the secret, is to go to the polar opposite. We've started teaching you guys this from the get-go, that every line of energy, okay, has 2 ends to it, right? There's this end, right? And there's this end, okay? So for this full moon coming up, we've got Scorpio on this end, and we have Taurus on this end, which was our new moon, right? So because we're going to have this intensification of energy coming down from Scorpio, right? It is the focus and the power and the intent of the Taurus that you need to just keep your beam on. So it's the opposite, all right? We'll do it. We already went through it actually in your charts. You don't like, there's so many things we do already in your charts when we're giving you a reading. But we're going to do it again because it's you seeing the other side of it and how it's going to play out in that other opposite house. Okay, you're going to see how important it is. Hopefully we can get them all to you before the May 18th. Miss A has a surgery coming up actually on the 16th of this month, which is, what's today, the 10th? So it's like in 6 days. So I am trying to somehow play catch up, and we really are focusing our time right now to get the Zodiac starter pack out to you guys onto the website. So it gives you the 1, 2, 3s of how to look at all that and begin to make sense of it on your own, okay? With that, I think that's all I got to say right now, although I did want to read one more thing from one of my favorite books, one of my favorite writers, and it you know, I don't know, some people really enjoy when I read these little things. They're just my little mantrams, my little invocations, my affirmations. I like to share them because they really are words that were written and were handed down from above, literally from above. They were channeled. And the goal was for groups of people to read these. Because if it's, you know, I'm not affiliated with any particular religion when it comes to this discussion, because I am all inclusive. You know, these energies that are up there affect every single living being and thing on all the planets, really, right? These are emanations of rays. So what I want to do is to just throw this out there and read this. If you like it, great. If you don't, say your own prayer. Have your own intention, okay? Take bits and pieces from this if you want. You do what you want. I want you guys to feel comfortable, okay? We call you Zodiacs for a reason. I'm a Zodiac. You're a Zodiac. I am not only Taurus, I am Scorpio. I am Pisces. I am Libra. I am Sagittarius. I am Aries. I am Gemini. I am Aquarius. I am Virgo. Did I leave anyone out? I am Leo. I am all that. I am the Zodiac. And so are you. Okay? And when you know where you are, that particular energy, that sign in the area of your life, which is the bucket, right? The slice of pie, it all starts to make sense. Okay? So this is for the Zodiacs out there who are still tuned in. Okay? These are great words. These were channeled words. They were not channeled to me. They were channeled to Alice Bailey from the Tibetan. I have to take the glasses off because, like, my vision, I don't need glasses to read books. But anyway, here we go. Ready? All right. The souls of men are one, and I am one with them. I seek to love, not hate. I seek to serve and not exact due service. I seek to heal, not hurt. Let pain bring due reward of light and love. Let the soul control the outer form and life and all events, and bring to light the love that underlies the happenings of the time. Let vision come and insight. Let the future stand revealed. Let inner union demonstrate and outer cleavages be gone. Let love prevail. Let all love. And again, that was from the Tibetan to Alice Bailey. And with that, Zodiacs, stay tuned. Subscribe if you haven't done that already, and tap that bell so you know when we drop the fresh information to keep you alert and aware of the energetic frequencies that are going to be spreading out for you to receive in your day-to-day life. Okay? So you remember, as always, we end the video with everything in life. We look all around, and it is all astrology.